All right, what's happening? Looks like it's streaming without any problems again, so that's good. Hello and welcome to whatever this is. Oh, there's the albums we're going to be talking about. Hello and welcome to Orbit Askew. We're going to be looking at some weird news stories and some album cover inspired by movies and other things, mashups. And that's it for now, so... It's Friday night. It's nice to have the free time. It's nice to be able to just chill out. I clean my glasses or else wasn't going to get very far with it. So I know this one is immediately Peter Gabriel 3. This is probably one of my favorite albums growing up and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty on the nose to be able to just kind of put it in with the guy melting on. And that's the thing that he does with a lot of these. This is Why the Long Play Face. I came across this on Facebook, and I don't know how many people are responsible for this, but they're really good, all of them. And moving on to the next one, what do we got here? Let me see. Excuse me, I'm working with one less monitor than I want to, but which means two. There we go. Oh, that calms me right down. I love it. Okay, here we go. Just kind of made for it, right? Just kind of made for it. Okay, Simon and Garfunkel on the Public Enemy cover in the jail cell. Star Wars, of course, the Rage Against the Machine album cover. Lots of Star Wars, and that's not a problem. Lots of Star Wars is never a problem. What era of Star Wars could conceivably be a problem? But I don't know. I was watching some reaction channel. They were watching Andor, and I couldn't. I've been hurt. Star Wars has hurt me before. I'm trepidatious. All this would be pretty cool. This would be good. I got to find out why the long play face. I don't know. It's .com, I guess. A young Natalie Portman. This isn't, of course, Star Wars related, but she was in the movie The Professional. It's just so easy now with AI and Photoshop, because even like the thumbnail tonight, that was pretty easy. I did it in the broadcast software. I didn't even need a Photoshop program. Usually Photoshop programs are overcomplicated. I'm more of the quick kind of DIY. That's Bjork. No, it's not. That's Darth Vader. Vader. I don't know. Well, Han, Jesus Christ, if Han and Tom Petty were spliced, Han Solo and the Heartbreakers. I mean, you can't go wrong. These are good for magnets, anything. Yeah. This is going to be predominantly Star Wars stuff. Like, okay. Little Black Sabbath going on. Paradroid. I've been uploading some more short movies. There we go, you two. Some more short movies and experimental films. Fishing around for a little bit on the channel. I keep adding more stuff. This is completely self-indulgent. This is just stuff that I find interesting. But if other people find it interesting, then it's cool to kind of like chill and talk about it. Black Flag, Han Solo. That's pretty good. I didn't really check these out all too much. I just kind of downloaded it because there's a bunch of them. Why the long play face on Facebook? Yeah. Boba Fett and the Blackhawks. Kind of. A lot of these kind of write themselves, though. It's because it's one letter away from being what it is visually, which is what's kind of cool about it. What's that song? MC Chris Fet's Jets? No, Fet's Vet. That's what it is. That's not an album cover, but that's him listening to Boba Fett right there. The Endors. Return of the Jedi. It's a good turn on both. Mall and Oates, of course. Boy, they had a big... it's funny, it's these history of all these bands. All these album covers are reminding me of like all the documentaries I've seen of like musicians and the bands and all the crazy stuff that's gone on in the background. Little Reservoir Dogs going on with Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. The fact that anything is easily visually attainable now kind of waters it down. Do you think that's accurate? Nice. Yeah. See, where's the marketing? See, where's Nintendo's marketing? So be it. Yeah. Darth Maul is pretty cool, though. He looks even more sinister in the glowing socks, I gotta say. And adds another layer. Another layer is what I'm talking about. Another Darth Maul Tatooine you. you even need to say anything after that? Ride the force lightning. That would be his album cover. It would just turn out coincidentally, even though it's in another adjacent universe. There would be one of those just coincidences that would just skip across space and time. You'd have to say, I don't know, quantum entanglement, I guess. Yes. All right, this is like my favorite so far. Is the piano too loud? Captain America. And you too. All right, I'm quickly getting a lot of favorites here. Tarkin heads. Ten Scavengers' Tales. Finally, you got it. Where's the Cantina Band, right? The one actual musical act in the whole deal. They finally got their record deal. They're going to get Phil Spector to produce. What a nightmare. Aunt the Droids. Oh, it's a good album too, Ill Communication. I like a lot of music. Not everything, but oh, it's all right. They always rebuild them. R2-D2 was not just cut out to be in Rage Against the Machine. Human League. Not dare, but scare. Yes, Aladdin Bane. Of course, Aladdin Bane. No, he'd have to be more like a death metal vocalist or just something. Yeah, you need like, if he's in a band, those guitars are going to sound like buzzsaws, and like the percussionist is going to sound like they're beating on them with hammers. Han Solo, Rebel Alliance, Ziggy Stardust. It's because he's Ziggy Marley. Nice. Dark Side of the That's No Moon. Don't worry, someone will AI an album in the next 10 minutes. It's another thing too with like AI and stuff. Like everyone's doing like, oh, this is the person, which it's cool. Fan films. Nobody has ever like crapped on fan films before. I think it's because the fan films were so obviously fan film and not canon. But it's getting pretty studio. Hey, I don't know. Maybe the fans. I mean, maybe the gatekeepers of all these industries. I mean, they're going to fall to the wayside because they know they have a monopoly rather on the technology to produce and make this stuff and write and everything. You know, they're not beholden to a fan doesn't have to worry about Dr. Pepper if Dr. Pepper gives a damn. You could just have like a fan community of people who just make films and just, you'd never public domain a license though. You'd have to like pay like a licensing fee. Maybe that's what it'll be. Maybe Disney will start making money off licensing and just say, hey, yeah, you can make a film. You can make a 20-minute film. You can make this. You can make that. And then you can just have concurrent, you know, like the Monsterverse. You know, you had concurrent, you know, Godzilla in Japan. You had Shin Godzilla and Godzilla minus. And then you get, you know, the Monsterverse here. So it's possible. It's just, it's out of the hands of big studios. But then, I don't know, who's going to make all the money? Kraftwerk. Damn, some of these are really good. They're all good, but some of them are like, whoa, maybe it's just because if you like the album or not. There we go. There's the... Instead of the duck hunters with the Zappa. Who shot? Oh, Van Morrison's awesome. That's no moon dance. I remember they used to sell bubble gum in things that looked like record sleeves. They'd be like the size of like little mini record sleeves. And it'd be a round piece of bubble gum. No Jakku required, rather. The Force Awakens was okay. I was 4 when Star Wars came out, so you know, during that time, and then I was like 8 or 7 or whatever when Star Blazers and all this stuff started hitting. So I mean, this stuff is all in my DNA. That's why this channel is completely self-indulgent. So I just dig that other people are into it too, and like to just, you know. Because it's really just, I don't know, it's a unique time. Everyone says that about their time, though, don't they? But more to the point, Force Awakens was an okay movie. And I think everybody got what they expected out of it. But you can't do it again. You can't go back and go, oh, let's redo what happened in 77, because it's of the time and it's meaty. I like Peter Gabriel. That's why this is making me crack up. Peter Gabriel 2, 1978. Nice. Michael Jackson, Bad Motivator. I've heard a couple different theories on this. Like why this droid broke or something. One was like R2 messed with it or something. I don't know. There's so many like things when you start digging, you didn't realize like, oh wow, I didn't know there was a whole deal to this. I just thought it was just chance when I was a kid. And that was good enough. And I didn't have to think about it too hard. It's a Star Wars movie. Okay. This favorite list is getting a little long. Luke's next. Chuck Norris passed away today, unfortunately. They said it was like a sudden thing. Boba Fett doesn't strike me as a Dylan-esque kind of individual, but man, Chuck Norris is everywhere. I remember Chuck Norris had a cartoon. I remember that. The Karate Commandos. Chuck Norris, Karate Commandos. I think they had toys and everything. I think he had like a Corvette, like a karate Corvette. I don't know if they spelled it with a K like Mortal Kombat. The Karate... No, was it the Karate Camaro maybe? I don't know. It was the alliteration. I forgot we weren't doing it. I thought this was just all Star Wars. That kind of jolted me back a little bit. Great Scott. Also in Roger Rabbit, I saw that the other day. Hadn't seen that in a long time. I forgot a lot of I hadn't seen that in a long time. And I forgot just a lot of the smaller bits in it. I remember the overall story, but wow, I just forgot a lot. And just for what it was in the day, how they made that movie, all just hand rotoscopes, it's crazy. Nice Sonic Youth. About my friend's Falcon. It was all whirlwind, heat, and flash. Within a week, we destroyed the Death Star and hit the road. I don't know if you can sell these because it's likenesses. That's pretty good. New Hope. I like all the little touches there. The Ghostbusters. Hey, where's Steve Martin with his banjo? He wasn't in Ghostbusters, so why would he be there? It's Loki Bowie. I don't know why, but when Bryan Cranston is wearing that jacket, all the buckles and stuff tend to stand out a little bit more. It's better than the Beat It jacket or the Thriller jacket. Engage against the machine. That was horrible. This cover isn't, though. Finally, we get some Batman. Finally, we get some Batman. Rebel Fleet. Wood. These guys are everywhere. They put these guys everywhere, and it's funny every time. Yeah. The Can I say that? Joshua. Jawasha. The Jawasha tree. I feel like I should be saying like another syllable in there. Jawashawa tree or something. Jawashawa tree. Is that right? This music's really smoothing me out. I've already said that. No, Yoda wouldn't chase a dollar. Even Baby Yoda. Oh, well, another one snuck in there. This is the same Why the Long Play face on Facebook. I don't have anything on the channel. I don't have anything. I'm not, what's the word? They keep wanting me to do it. Verify. I gotta verify myself. So I haven't done that. That's why I can't put any direct links outside of YouTube. So stuff that's out there, like stuff that I can't get on YouTube because whatever reason, I put on the Rumble channel. So check that out. I try to put some links out there to remind people that it's out there because there's some cool stuff on there. There's a theatrical cut of Buck Rogers. I got some Super 8 versions, Empire Strikes Back. If it's condensed in 30 minutes. I'm obsessed with that kind. I like that editing process. That's why I did the Master Vice. I try to get it within an hour, but I see now where I could do it. I made George Lucas that shit again, and then yeah. So yeah, I mean, I got a lot of, and I'm gonna be getting. I want to start watching bad movies live again. I used to do that on Facebook on an older channel, so I don't know, or maybe another platform, but just get everything up and running again because I had a blast doing it. Nice. The Pixies. Kai low. Background's pretty good. It was good for low key too. Very menacing, kind of orangey kind of color. Juxtaposed with the black. Nice Nirvana. Perfect. Another alien element from David Bowie. Space Oddity. It's another tie-in right there too. Also the hair. His hair is kind of a little big and poofy on this too, so. Nice. Alright, that's better than Simon and Garfunkel in jail. I don't know. That's really good. This is my new favorite. Damn, I want to buy this. Blood on the Sarlacc. Of course it's Chewy Lewis. Of course it's Chewy Lewis. Yes. Yes. I think we've seen that. It's still pretty good though. We had the Doc Brown. Now we got the Marty McFly. Taylor Swift. Bjork. The Horror Movie Monsters Club Band. That's it. That's all. That's all I grabbed. It's like close to 100 or something like that. So we went through them pretty quick, but yeah, those are all right. Let's see what else we got going on. Let's try to switch this over now. I was reading a thing today. Sam Jackson has made about, what did it say? $161 million from his movies. He averages around 2,200 words per movie in 156 movies. That's about $1,040 per word. Motherfucker was 1,116 of those words. Samuel Jackson has made roughly $1,640 million from saying motherfucker. Yeah, let's see if I can do a little switcheroo here. Here we are. There's the window I want. So let's change the properties. Here we go. 10 unfortunate vintage toys that were pulled from store shelves. Wheeljack's Lab. I know these people from, I think, eBay. I think I've bought stuff from them in the past, allegedly. Oh, you know what I could do? You could do this. Instead of trying to resize the whole thing. Told you I'm rusty. I'll get there. All right, let's see. Okay, 10 unfortunate words. In the last century, the toy aisle has exploded to become one of the most profitable industries. While not every toy or company successfully becomes a long-lasting success, there are millions of toys produced each year. Most of these toys are played for hours on end with no negative effects. However, there have been multiple times when manufacturers have stumbled and pulled their products from store shelves. While chasing the goal of creating exciting, one-of-a-kind play experiences, many companies have erroneously experimented too much with their toy designs by pushing the toy line to create a revolutionary toy. We don't need this. We just need to know. We all lived through it. Here we go. 1992, Roadblock. Why are you wearing those pants? What's wrong with Roadblock? What did he do? It has to do with this spinny bit, doesn't it? G.I. Joe is one of the oldest action figure toy line. There we go. Still more laying the groundwork. The toy in 1980. Yes. Unfortunately, here we go. Finally, we got to it. All this. Boom, just to get to here. Unfortunately, his fourth variation, released in 1992, had a major flaw. Like most other toys from the line, this Roadblock action figure came with a selection of accessories. His accessories included a black machine gun with a scope, a blue spring-loaded disc launcher, I see the problem, a black fan-shaped disc, and a black knife. The disc launcher had an unfortunately designed floor that allowed the clutch to be easily overwound. Neat. As it presented a safety hazard. Hasbro was, well, they just sprung it a little too tight there. Relax, Roadblock. Go get your orange pants. What are you doing? Nomad. There he is. Finally. Nice pants, bro. After Rambo presented the tale of a traumatized U.S. Yes, the irony. The Force of Freedom toy line in 1986. It would feature many of the same characters and vehicles from the cartoon series. Whoa. See, you want to resize one, you got to resize them all. Hey, we're giving away spoilers. Put it into that shit. Okay. Bear with me, I'm sorry. All right, so a thermos. Is that who the culprit is this time? A thermos? No, the next one is. This one is still Rambo. Nomad, stemming from the same vein. Beyond the violent history of Rambo, there was one more element of Coleco's Rambo toy line that became the focus of controversy. First, controversy. The forces of Savage included an Arabian man named Nomad who represented some of the worst stereotypes of the era. His representation as a desert combatant who frequently attacked desert supply trains did not sit right with Arab rights groups. Thus, they railed against the toy's existence, demanding its removal from toy shelves. Notably, Nomad only appeared in the first wave of the Rambo toy line. While Coleco never confirmed that the controversy was the reason they stopped producing the toy, he was the only character to not return in future runs. Thus, it is clear that Coleco chose to cancel the production of this action figure and pull him from the line. Well, I don't know. I guess. I don't know. The Jurassic Park thermos, huh? The mystery of the Jurassic Park thermos, okay. While the red lunchbox was not an issue, the accompanying red and white thermos was. The thermos was plastered with a fake warning label stating that there were biological materials within it. Below the biological hazard symbol was text stating that the contents had tetragenic and mutagenic agent present. These labels were too effective and some mistook them for actual biological materials with the containers. With parents and schools taking offense to the thermos, a recall was issued. Oh, well. Those aren't words, though. Like, an adult should know that that's not a thing. And then if you spin it around, does it have like a big dinosaur on the other end? Like, I mean, it looks legit, but that's the point. I don't know. What am I looking at here? What am I looking at? All right, let's do it. Since the early decades of the 20th century, Disney understood that their characters were marketable. They would regularly license their movies and characters to companies to produce toys. These strategies only increased as the company began to open theme parks around the world, beginning with Disneyland in 1955. As a partnership was beneficial, there was a little surprise that Mattel would once again work on Disney to produce toys for the animated movie. In 1999, movie retold the classic Tarzan. When it came, I should just read the last paragraph. That's what it comes down to. When it came time for Mattel to design an action gimmick for their Rad, Repeat, and Tarzan toy, they failed to think about the position of the hand, as a hand that rapidly moved up and down when the action figure was activated, slapped around his groin area. It resembled a sexual act. To say the imagery caused by this action did not sit well with parents. Thus, the toy was quickly pulled from store shelves. Yeah. Well, you know. Tarzan's got to get the poison out. I don't know. 1998, Play School Teletubbies Talking Poe. I think I remember this. People were just hearing stuff. You know, just totally suggestive stuff. And adults couldn't handle it. So they... Oh, I gotta leave my glasses on if I hope to keep reading. So in Play School, let's see here. When Play School released their line of Teletubby toys, they decided to include a 14-inch talking plush doll of characters. Like on-the-screen characters, they recorded gibberish phrases for these toys to say. Unfortunately, the red character, Poe, became a problem child as its gibberish phrases were mistaken for phrases like "bite my butt." Even if it clearly said "bite my butt," who gives a... They should have made it a catchphrase on purpose. Sold t-shirts, all that. Bite my butt. Who knows? That could have caught on. What, stupider things happen? Playmates, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Black Belt Boxer Mike. I mean, that just looks, yeah, you walk into a store, you're a kid, you see that, you want that. You're like, what? I don't care if it's $30. No, I don't know if it's 30. Who cares? It's not your money, it's your parents' money. Sorry, talking for a while. You understand. Yeah, so let's see what's going on. This looks like a go. What's going on here? Original chart, yeah. Okay, let's find out. Michelangelo, let's see. In 1993, Playmates decided to match the demand for toys with action gimmicks with the Ninja Action subline. These toys featured various springs and triggers that allowed toys. Boy, that must have drove toy companies crazy. Like, you know, the price and just the intricate. Oh boy, everything's. I didn't like that gimmick as a kid. There weren't a lot of things like that when I was a kid, but I don't know. It seemed to limit what you could do with it. Like, if it wasn't doing that specific function at some point. It'd be like if you had a Han Solo figure and he just had a quick arm trigger. I mean, that'd be cool. You don't not want that, but would you implement it? Would it break? Would it just, at what point does a novelty wear off? And now it's like, it's now in the way. It's just, did I say that out loud? Well, anyway, they decided to match the thing, right? So they said, hey, everybody's got their toys throwing and swinging stuff. We need these turtles to throw and swing stuff, too. So they said, okay. The orange-wearing, nunchuck-wielding turtle then gave him a flip that activated his torso, was pushed back to help keep the toy upright. Playmates used a small bit of lead that they hid in the feet. Oh. This occurred because Playmates quickly terminated all manufacturing of the action figure, so he was only available in the earliest waves of the subline. Playmates removed him silently without any explanation, so the exact reason pulling him remain unknown to this day. Well, if they got lead in them, yeah, that'll do it. That'll get your toy off the shelf. Have any more coffee? So, okay. Oh, yes, the Snack Time Kid Cabbage Patch. This is the one that wouldn't stop. Kids, it had a little motor, and it would, like, chew, and it came with, like, rubber French fries you'd throw at it, and it would eat. But kids would get clothes and hair caught, and all of a sudden, and it would get and there was no off button. That's the thing. They made these things with no off button. And once it got a hold of something, it didn't know when. It just kept, as long as there was something there, it would just keep dragging it in. So it was kind of frightening, actually. You're a kid and your doll won't keep eating your hair and gets to your head, and it's just still. That's a little bit of nightmare fuel for like a real little girl, isn't it? Or for a grown man. The Snack Time Kid launched a series of accessories that resemble tiny pieces of food. These introduce sticks of carrot and celery. Once the accessories are inserted into the doll's mouth, an electronic motor would activate metal rollers that pulled the food in. Kind of like Mechagodzilla's mouth from the Monsterverse. The accessories would then be deposited into a backpack so that they could be retrieved and reused. What fun. Unfortunately, Mattel failed to include an on-off switch, yes, or a reverse function for the rollers. So once they were activated, they continued to try to pull in the object, which included organic materials like hair. Reports of the dolls eating hair quickly began to circulate. Even though the dangers of this doll were exaggerated, this vocal outcry led to Mattel recalling the dolls. Mattel Rollerblade Barbie. So that's about as American as it gets. What's wrong with Rollerblade Barbie? Sparking gimmicks. As Rollerblade Inc. made the inline skate a hot item in the late 80s, Mattel knew that they needed to create a rollerblading doll. However, the simple inclusion of 90s color in rollerblades was not enough to make the doll toyetic. Thus, they decided to add a sparking action that would activate when the blade skated along the ground. Even though multiple toys in the 1980s had featured sparking gimmicks, it's true, I had guns that did that. Mattel did not successfully release a toy that released potentially Even though multiple toys in the 1980s had featured sparking gimmicks, Mattel did not successfully, release a toy that released potentially dangerous sparks. Parents in the 90s are not willing to risk a fire from toys, so Mattel responded, I guess they are kind of a fire hazard, but I'd never heard of it. I never heard that. They were kind of cool. They were heavy tubes, but bzzz. It was something satisfying about it, because it was before the internet. It was guns that sparkled, table manners, and fancy hats. That was it before the internet. 1999 Burger King Pokemon toys. What's wrong with these things? Oh, there it is. There he is. Unfortunately, we'll get to that next. Unfortunately, there was a major oversight in the design of these toys. By 1999, the anime series was ready to debut in its first theatrical film in American movies. I worked at a retail store. I worked at a retail store for a while, when there were retail stores. And when this came out, and this was everywhere. This came out around, it was Pokemon and Furbies. Oh my God. That was crazy. And that same year was episode 1 came out. I stocked so much episode 1 stuff. The anime series was ready to debut. The toy line included a selection of 57 miniature Pokemon figurines that came in plastic Pokeballs. This made over a third of the concurrent lineup of Pokemon available in the line. Unfortunately, there was a major oversight in the design of these toys. While the figurines had no significant complaints lobbied against them, the plastic Pokeball containers were another story. After splitting the hemispheres of the balls apart, they easily fit around both the mouth and nose of young children. Thus, by December 1999, the first report of a child suffocating to death because of these balls came in. This unfortunate event was nearly repeated 12 days after the first. Burger King responded to these incidents by recalling the entire toy line. They rewarded customers who returned the problematic toys with a free order of small fries. You cheap pricks. You cheap bastards. Despite the recall, there was yet another child who suffocated because of the toys. The recall did not stop the families from filing lawsuits with the fast food chain. The reason why we did not get the rocket fire on Boba Fett is right here. Everybody knows it. It's a cool toy, though. Mattel returns to our list one final time with one of the most notorious recalls in the toy industry. The vehicles became a huge problem for Mattel, for they featured spring-loaded projectiles. While toys with projectiles were not new, these had triggers that Mattel designed to be set off with a simple flick. The projectiles were also small and easily swallowed by young children. This led to the unfortunate death of a 4-year-old in December 1978. In response to the reports of injuries and deaths due to the projectiles, Mattel decided to voluntarily recall the projectile-firing vehicles. They then redesigned the toys to remove the projectile firing feature completely. Unfortunately, this move did not save Mattel from public outcry and lawsuits. Moreover, the entire industry took notice of Mattel's recall. Multiple toy lines swiftly removed the projectile firing features, such as Mattel's Shogun Warriors. Boo! Boo! Even unreleased toys were swiftly redesigned to remove projectiles. Yeah, that's right, Boba Fett's backpack. Again, at what point... Yeah. That's true though. Earlier to my point, like those features, it's like they're good, but they get kind of like that's an action feature, right? Oh, it shoots the thing, but then most kids are gonna lose it, and then the feature is gone. They weren't gonna give you like 3 or 4 missiles. All right, let's see. Society. Let's not read the news. Let's just read. Well, looks good anyway. Jail for man in felonious karaoke rage. There we go. March 13th. Oh, so close to St. Patrick's Day. The man who engaged in some gunplay after suffering from a severe case of karaoke rage had pleaded guilty to a pair of felony charges according to court records. Appearing this week before a Florida judge, Aaron Jablonski, 35, copped aggravated assault and gun charges in connection with an incident last year outside of a sports bar in Clearwater. Jablonski, who had been free on $40,000 bond, was taken into custody Tuesday after entering his guilty pleas. He is scheduled to be sentenced on March 31st. Jablonski was arrested last year following a 2:30 a.m. disturbance outside an overtime sports bar. Police reported that Jablonski became incensed upon learning that the bar's karaoke machine was inoperable. We've all been there. I want to bang out some Lawyers, Guns, and Money, or some Longview. Those are my staples, karaoke staples. But he's been working all week. It's like a woman who just wants to dance at the end of the week. This guy's the guy who just wants to go out and bell his karaoke. And he just smooths it out. Just smooths them out. Upset about the music, the karaoke enthusiast exited the bar where James Emery, 27, tried to get Jablonski to calm down. According to an arrest affidavit, instead of cooling off, Jablonski pulled a Glock 9mm from his waistband and pointed it at the man, saying, "I don't fucking care." Jablonski, police reported, fired 1 round into the air. It was illegal for Jablonski to possess a handgun since his rap sheet includes a 2012 felony conviction for battery on a law enforcement officer. Wow, double points. He was also been convicted of DUI, disorderly conduct, theft, resisting an arrest officer, and violence. You can't teach this kind of talent. Jablonski's preferred karaoke song remains a mystery. Oh. Well, it's a man who knew what he wanted. What can you do? Is that Aquaman? What the hell's going on? What's happening? What is this? Wow. That's okay. Powerball, $167.3 million man pleads guilty in cop battery case. Well, that's going to cost you a chunk of that, isn't it? And was that before taxes? Those 160, that chunk's getting smaller and smaller. Quickly. A Kentucky man who last year won $167.3 million Powerball jackpot has cut a plea deal to charges that he kicked a police officer in the face during a ruckus at the Florida vacation spot where he went to celebrate his sudden riches. I would not go to public. If I won $167 million, the last place I'd be going is out in public around a bunch of drunk people and then announcing it. Like, no, that's the worst. I'd quietly call a lawyer and turn my ringer off. Originally charged with felony battery of law enforcement, James Farthing, 50, has pleaded guilty to a reduced misdemeanor charge in connection with the violent confrontation last year. Farthing, a career criminal who has spent nearly 30 years behind bars, he's making good decisions. He'll make great decisions with that money. Was arrested a day after claiming the lottery windfall in Kentucky. Police report, he will be able to afford a really good lawyer, though. Police reported being called into the hotel to deal with a tattooed man who was basically trying to fight everybody in the bar while boasting, "I'm a millionaire! I'm a millionaire!" When another patron, who was unaware of the unruly guy's actual good fortunes, called him delusional, Farthing punched the man in the face. Well, I'd go as far as to say it's a bit of an overreaction. When a sheriff's deputy sought to separate the pair as they grappled on a lobby floor, Farthing stood up and sought to kick the other guest. Instead, he struck Deputy Nicholas Arostasio in the face. Farthing was subsequently tased when he made a run for the hotel exit. Farthing, court records show, pleaded guilty Friday to misdemeanor battery and obstruction charges. He was fined $1,000 and sentenced to the time he previously served in the county lockup, 9 days. So maybe this guy, because he was a cop, he can't really sue him for anything. It doesn't matter. He'll screw it up. He'll screw it up. He'll screw it up. He'll screw it up. Okay. Actually, money can probably make the problems worse. Actually. Police, 32, charged with felony pickle assault. When officers arrived on the scene, there were pickles and pickle juice scattered across the apartment, as Caitlin Blaine's boyfriend and co-inhabitant had a knot on the top of his head where she allegedly had clobbered him with a glass jar of the briny delicacy. According to police, Blaine, 32, and the 34-year-old victim argued Monday morning about the cleanliness of their Clearwater, Florida apartment. Clearly, I think there's more to the story than that. Blaine and the man have dated for 6 years and are parents of a 2-year-old girl. After being accused of making a mess, Blaine reportedly got agitated and grabbed the glass jar of pickles from which she had been noshing around 10 a.m. Blaine then allegedly struck the victim in the head with a jar, resulting in the pickle splatter observed by police. Seen above, Blaine declined to speak with cops, was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. What? A felony? And booked into the county jail. The pickle jar weapon was not seized by police. You think in a felony assault, they'd get the weapon or the... Right? I mean, it's a felony. I don't know. Blaine was released from custody on her own recognizance last night in judge. This really isn't really like a big news story. Well, none of these are really big news stories, but I mean, the guy won the lottery. Police summoned to handle domestic sticky. This is just going to be people threw like sticky buns at each other, and cops had to break it up. Here we go. Florida man. Anything that starts with those two words is going to be worth maybe checking out a little bit more. 51, busted for sexual performance with a vacuum cleaner. There we go. Now we're talking. That's straight out of The Village right there. That's great. This guy's an artist. Let's see. A Florida man was arrested yesterday for indecent exposure after he allegedly engaged in a sexual performance with a vacuum cleaner at a gated resort community near Disney World. Thank goodness. Thank God he was close to Disney World. According to police, witnesses provided statements and a cell phone recording showing Kevin Dale Westerhold, 51, partially clothed, and communing with the appliance. Deputies responded last Thursday to the Windsor Hills Resort in Kissimmee, somewhere in Florida, receiving 911 calls about the male suspect's lewd vacuum encounter. But by the time the cops arrived at the scene, the man had left the area. A subsequent investigation resulted in the identification of Westerhold, who cops say is suspected, based on witness accounts and video evidence, of several other instances of indecent exposure of property at the property. Westerhold and his wife own condos at the resort, which they rent out via Airbnb. Westerhold was arrested Tuesday at his residence. What is he doing, Flocka or something? In Seminole County, about 35 miles away from Kissimmee. Charged with exposure of sexual organs, a misdemeanor. Westerhold was booked into the county jail on a $2,500 bond. He does not appear to still be in custody. Westerhold did not return a smoking gun phone call. I bet you didn't. Ketchup packet battery. Committed battery inside a Florida bus terminal. That's where it'll go. That's where you want to go. That's where life's happening. The Florida bus terminal. Monday evening. The victim's cops say was checking on Simmons, who appeared to be passed out. Identified as a transient, and in his arrest affidavit, Simmons woke up irate. Yeah, you ruined his buzz. He then walked towards Carlos Mora and then threw an open ketchup packet at the victim. He suffered 2 spots of ketchup on the jacket. Well, maybe you can get this guy to loan you his lawyer. Aquaman. Has this stuff always been going on and just the internet has just made us more aware of it? Or is just stuff just kind of getting more crazy? Plea deal reached in case of the notorious bear cave pooper. What? This is exactly my point. The Pennsylvania woman who defecated inside the bear cave at a Royal Farms convenience store has been sentenced for one of 2025's most unappetizing crimes. During a court hearing yesterday, Crystal Goss, 47, pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge of disorderly conduct that created a hazardous and physically offensive condition. Goss was fined $75 in order to pay restitution of about $80 to the Hanover business. A court of common that would kind of ruin the business. Wouldn't that get around town? Like, I don't know if I buy beer there anymore, man. That's with a woman like, I don't know. It's just, I know they cleaned it. It's just, I know. It just hits. We're just going to, we're going to Johnny 40s. Come on. Iowa man finds cure for the blahs by exposing himself to passing cars. That's how you do it. Tired of your blah life? Seeking some excitement? Well, an Iowa man in that exact position recently sought to shake off the blues by exposing himself to cars passing on 2 separate interstates. Police charge. This is going to be the last one. I think my mouth is getting loose. Twice last month, cops say Denan Ari, 30, stood against the rear of his 2012 Chevy Impala with his pants and underwear removed to his ankles and his t-shirt lifted to casually expose his genitals and abdomen to oncoming traffic in suburban Iowa City. When questioned by the police, Ari reportedly confessed to the indecent exposures. According to the criminal complaints, Ari, seen at the right, it's just kind of explained that this behavior was fulfilling as excitement that was currently missing in his blah life. Well, we all have those moments, but we don't all, go stand adjacent to the interstate and expose ourselves too. See, there's, Investigators say that Ari knew this behavior to be inappropriate. Well, that's why it scratched his itch, and unacceptable as well as offensive to others within view. Ari, who has a lengthy rap sheet, was arrested Wednesday for 2 indecent exposure counts. Ari, who is being held in the Johnson County Jail in lieu of $5,000 bond, was transferred today into a custody of state prison officials, apparently for violating probation terms stemming from a prior felony conviction. Well, again, wow, the news is just full of just wonderful things. All right. Oh, I do believe that is going to do it there. There I am. Hey, that's for everybody who has come by and checked out the channel. Over 2,000 subs. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Hope you guys can come by and catch the live streams a little bit. Get in here and just kick some of this stuff around. So until then, as I always say, peace and love.